It's Erick Redbeard, who has made his return on AEW Rampage. That's right, we are leading with Rampage, which means we should probably change this over to Rampage, because we're going to be talking about it first. Erick Redbeard made his return on AEW Rampage. This was a pretty nuts and stacked episode of AEW Rampage, all things considered. The go-home show for Revolution. We're very excited about it. Are you excited for Revolution? Send in your Ultrachats to WrestleTalk.com/support, and we're going to read out all your messages that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. So, Tempest, this episode of AEW Rampage had a lot of noteworthy things on it. Had a triple threat TNT title match. Don't know why that wasn't on Revolution, but had a triple threat TNT title match, which was pretty banging. Had the last Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier, Christian Cage and Ethan Page. And we had this little nugget in the middle of the show, which was a promo segment with Penta Oscuro, I suppose, and Pac and Cosplay Dracula, who was in the ring.
Odd.
It's
so strange. I can't. And I felt this way with Malachi Black when he came out in like September or something, the Rosario Dawson episode where she jumped Malachi Black. Where he's just standing in a cloak with the house lights on. It just looks so goofy.
But regardless, he's cutting a promo saying, like, the three of us are going to take on the three of you, referring to the House of Black, on Sunday. So I think that's been added to the buy-in, I believe.
Yes.
And House of Black came out and... Oh, I need to add that to Wrestle League. I should do that.
Yes,
House of Black came out and interrupted via video promo and then teleported to the ring, I assume. Sure. And then under the cover of darkness, of course. And Dracula himself then said, actually, no, I didn't say I was the third person. You see, we have our own third member. We might be down one Lucha Brother, one member of the Death Triangle right now, but we've got our own monster, and it's none other than Erick Redbeard, who came out. Security rushed out to try and separate everybody, and it got into a little bit of a brawl and stuff. Erick Redbeard just beat up all the security, which was kind of fun. Thoughts on Erick Redbeard's return? This is, of course, the first time we've seen him since the Brody Lee tribute show. What do you reckon, Tempest?
Was not expecting this.
No, me neither.
You know? Like, again, I said in my edited review that, like, if you made a list of the entire free agent landscape in pro wrestling right now, all the people that have been released by WWE, etc., Erick Redbeard to join this trio would probably place near the bottom of the list. You know? Just like I would not have expected this guy. Like, the only real connection I can kind of work out is that there's, like, voodoo witchcraft going on. And he kind of has a history of that in WWE with the Wyatts and all that. Otherwise, I'm just kind of curious as to why he's shown up. Why he's taken an interest in the House of Black, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's a guy, like, Erick Redbeard is an interesting one because he's never stood out to me as, like, a worker. You know, like, I would watch Luke Harper Brody Lee matches, and it also helps that, like, I worked for Chikara and watched every one of his matches in Chikara ever. So that's a lot of matches. So I'm pretty familiar with Brody Lee matches.
Yeah.
He, to me, was always, like, the workhorse of the group. Obviously, like, everyone could wrestle, but, like, Luke Harper was the one everyone was waiting to, you know, he's going to get a push. He's going to get the Randy Orton match. Goes to AEW. Everyone's very excited. The whole deal. I've never felt that way about Eric Rowan. You know? Never felt that way. That being said, I've seen, like, none of his work outside of WWE. I know he did at least one tour of Pro Wrestling Noah before WWE. And I know he had one of the worst ring names that I've ever heard. His ring name, this would, I think Andy's actually used this on Fan Quizzlemania already. So I don't feel like I'm giving away a good question for him. His name on the indies was Thorolf Marius, which is a hell of a choice. Thorolf. I don't know how you get Thorolf. It's probably Scandinavian or something.
Sure, yeah.
Sure. Regardless, I think this match for Revolution will be fun. I think this it's weird because I've got like 2 trios matches that I would think would be pretty much the same kind of match. Just like it's a trios match. They're gonna do spots. There's high flyer guys. I would think that's what this would be. But now I'm thinking that we might get more like, oh, he sprays the mist in Penta's eyes, and now he's out for a while. And I'm thinking there might be more witchcraft going on just to set it aside from the Hardy family office match. But I don't know. This one caught me really by surprise.
Sure did for me as well. Yeah, I was very, very surprised when I saw this. I don't like you. I don't really get the connection as to why kind of he would be involved in this story. What do you think of the possibility? I personally wouldn't be super. I'm saying that I don't know. What do you think of the possibility, bit of fantasy booking, that Erick Redbeard betrays those guys and actually joins the House of Black and becomes like another member? Do they need Eric Rowan in the House of Black? Erick Redbeard, I should say. Sorry.
I would think not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a really weird situation because, again, I don't very often see AEW adding to like the bottom of the roster. It happens every once in a while. Like they signed Tony Nese and he has like 2 matches on TV and then he's on Dark, So maybe an Erick Redbeard could fit a similar role, but like, I don't know. I look at the House of Black and I ask, what do they gain by adding Erick Redbeard to their faction? And I kind of struggle to come up with an answer right now. Like, Brody King is already their big muscle.
Exactly.
And Buddy Murphy is like the smaller, more agile guy who also has like a deep history with Malachi Black. So you've kind of got a lot of the trio covered already. And unless you do something really different, like add Julia Hart to the faction and do something that none of them can do, I don't really see a lot of upside for Erick Redbeard in the faction. I don't know. This whole return has really thrown me for a loop. Like I was not expecting it, and it feels like a real oddball choice.
Yeah, it does. I think I am still excited for it. I think it should be interesting to say the least. And I do think that I see a lot of people in the chat, and I do agree with them that I think this is probably just a temporary fix to replace Phoenix while he's out. It could even be because, from the injury that happened on was it Dynamite or Rampage, a previous show that Phoenix was on, whenever that injury happened.
It was
Dynamite, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Jurassic Express winning the tag titles.
That's the one. The reports at the time was obviously that the injury was not as severe as it looked. So maybe if Phoenix is good to go, maybe we could even see him returning at Revolution. Maybe they had plans to have Phoenix come back at Revolution, but he's not quite going to be cleared then. So they're gone, actually, no, they were kind of holding out hope. So they're gone, actually, no, we'll just slot in Erick Redbeard here. We can give him a nice showcase in this match, but then we're going to go right back to the Phoenix story afterwards. Maybe maybe it's nothing more than that, especially because this is on the buy-in. It's not like a huge, oh my God, shock debut. We're going to stick him straight on the main show kind of thing. So I think all the signs are pointing to a more temporary alliance, so to speak. But regardless, I think it's pretty cool that you can have someone from like the indies as like a recognizable name that AEW can just call upon, and they don't have to. I think that bringing someone in from their own AEW roster into this story, I don't feel like would have the same impact as bringing someone in like an Erick Redbeard from like the indies. It's like, oh, recognizable name, that's cool, that's new, that's exciting. Even just for like a temporary turn like this, I think they made the right call in doing this. If they were holding out hope for Phoenix and he's not cleared, I think they probably made the right call.
I agree. I really like that AEW runs things the way they do, where you can have someone come in for a shot and not need to be signed. Whether we ever see Jeff Cobb in AEW again, I thought Jeff Cobb was going to come out for this one. Honestly, I thought this was going to be Jeff Cobb because they had to have the whole Lucha Underground thing. But regardless, I like that you can have, it's like a guest star on a TV show. They come in for an episode, maybe 2 episodes, and then they leave. And they don't overstay their welcome, but you do it with this match. Like Aerostar and Kalisto have been on the show. They didn't get signed. You don't need to sign everyone. And this just helps keep the show's fresh. It gives you that same like, whoa, big pop, surprise, debut, return, whatever. It gives you that feeling without needing it to be a Keith Lee on every show.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of tides you over until the next one. So I don't think like this obviously didn't light my world on fire or anything, but it was a fun segment and I understand why they would do it. So like, I'm not complaining about any of it. I just think it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say, I don't think they needed to add another match to Revolution. That already has so many matches.
Yeah, but I don't feel like they made the pre-show longer. They just put more wrestling on the pre-show. So
Probably,
we'll be getting another match instead of just sitting through video packages or
That's fair.
announcers, babbling. I will say though, in response to a point from like 5 minutes ago, why this match was on the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Why the triple threat match wasn't on Revolution. I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
Why?
Because Matt Hardy's in that match. And tomorrow is March 6th.
He is in that match. It is March 6th the day? I thought it was after.
Is it after March 6th? I don't know. I really got my fingers crossed that Jeff Hardy's showing up tomorrow. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm like
non-compete expiry. I feel like it's in time for the Dynamite after. Let's have a look. La 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 la. 2021.
I want this one.
Non-compete. March 9th.
March 9th. Oh God, yeah. Way off.
So that is literally the Wednesday of Dynamite after Revolution.
Well, in that case, I have absolutely no idea why this triple threat match wasn't on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the actual reason is Sting. They want to have Sting in a match.
That's fair.
And that's the reason. But I feel like that's not enough of a reason, personally.
This trip, we're gonna get into it, obviously, but this triple threat match was so good.
Oh,
like
so
I would probably bet that match on the pay-per-view in front of like the pay-per-view card could quite possibly be the best match on the show. It's got a lot of competition, but like it's a candidate.
Yeah. I think if this had obviously like stuff changed when you're doing like a picture-in-picture ad break, like the pace slows down a little bit, the wrestlers take a little bit of a breather. Like they don't stop wrestling, but the pace slows down and they like take their time because they know they're in picture-in-picture. If you'd have had that removed and you'd have just had the match and replaced that with 90 seconds of more match, maybe give it an extra minute or two, this could have easily been pay-per-view opener. Yeah. Easily. Like that's
maybe it's a damn good TV opener. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm just for sure. We're already getting it. We'll talk about that more later. Goddamn.
You just get so excited talking about good wrestling.
I know.
We talk about one good show a week, and we get so excited about our one hour good show.
See, the thing is, I know people were a bit down on me this week because I was on the Dynamite review, and people thought I was being very negative about it.
Oh, why do you hate Ring of Honor, Pete? Why do you hate Ring of Honor?
I thought I was being very honest about my feelings about the show, that I don't think it was a very good go-home episode. You know what was a very good go-home episode? This episode of Rampage.
I seem to recall that also being the case for All Out. It's like I went to both of those shows, and I wasn't super impressed with the Dynamite, but then the Rampage was really fun.
Yeah.
Weird.
Anywho, let's get into some of your Ultrachats, shall we? Let's see what you guys think. Send your chats in to WrestleTalk.com/support. And we're going to read out all your messages that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. 10 Rizza said, Rampage was incredible. Erick Redbeard was great to see and fun to have him in the fold. That triple threat was insane. And the M in CM stands for Monster. Tempest Foo Fighters here in Melbourne was insane. Poured down rain, but was so effing incredible. #Revolution.
I so badly want to see the Foo Fighters again. And this wonderful individual keeps bringing up the Foo Fighters, and like I get it, I'm very happy. Keep bringing up the Foo Fighters. I love the Foo Fighters. Let's talk about the Foo Fighters. But every time it's like, oh, I went and saw Foo Fighters in concert. I was like, I want to see the Foo Fighters in concert again.
Yeah. The Adnap2 says, I hate to be that guy, but if they needed a last-minute replacement, why not choose from their existing roster? Lance Archer makes sense as their backup monster, or Jay Lethal is right there. I mean, we touched on this earlier, and I think they made the right choice to inject a bit of excitement into it. I think
more exciting this way.
Yeah, and I think shoehorning someone into an allegiance with someone just for like a one-off pay-per-view or whatever, I don't think that's as coherent as just bringing in a special guest. Because a special guest, you can be like, hey, we asked them specifically to come in for this thing. Whereas you have to then follow up on the continuity afterwards if it's someone on your existing roster.
Well said.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. I'm really good at my job. We got
so good at everything, Pete. I wish to be as good as everything as you are.
We've got a quick chat here from Mayor of Painesville, Dan, that says, hey, Pete and Tempest, chatting in from day 2 of 16 Karat Gold 2022. Gresham and Bobby Guns had a banger last night. Met the Ring of Honor World Champ. What a nice guy. Now I'm back 10 a.m. in the morning with several shows before night 2. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm very happy that you're excited, Dan. Very happy, in fact, because here's a little Tempest tidbit. Did you know that one of the wrestlers that trained Tempest is competing in the 16 Karat tournament? The more you know, and I'm slightly confused because this fellow, the wonderful Mr. Marvelous James Runyon, for those who are wondering, posted something somewhere about being, I think he just posted a picture of the trophy on Instagram. I thought he'd like won, and I was like, what?
Right. What?
You know? No, I just posted a picture of the trophy. So, okay, I'm a little bit less confused now. But I hope you have a good time, Dan.
Should be a good time. WXW is very important. And we'll get into more of your Ultra Chats later. Keep sending those in at WrestleTalk.com/support about Rampage or SmackDown or Revolution or anything else that's happened in this weird week of wrestling with, like, I was saying this to Denise yesterday because I did the Friday show with Denise yesterday, and I was saying like Team Penis. Thank you very much. Let's get the pronunciation right. It's a family-friendly show, Tempest. Come on now. And I was saying, like, when it got to Dynamite, I was like, okay, Friday show definitely going to be about AEW buying Ring of Honor easily. And then it got to the next day, and I was like, okay, I guess it's going to be about Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon on the Pat McAfee show. And then it got to the day after that, I was like, I guess it's going to be about Cody, for God's sake. More news about that stuff. So much going on.
There's so much happening, you know, and we're trying to schedule as much content around WrestleMania and around everything else. Like Revolution's coming, and it's tomorrow, and what do you do about that? And then Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to come out of retirement. We haven't even done anything about that because that news was gone by that same day.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know. You do what you can, but yeah, way to go, Cody. You got 2 lists and a fantasy booking. Look at you, the belle of the ball.
Yeah. Adam's fantasy booking of Cody is up on partsFUNknown right now, by the way. Went up yesterday. Go watch it.
Go subscribe to partsFUNknown. I haven't said this publicly, but I would like for us to get to 200,000 subscribers on partsFUNknown by WrestleMania.
Oh, goodness. What are we on now?
We're like 195 or something. 194 maybe. And last month we had like 4,800 new subscribers. So if you are in the chat right now and you have not subscribed to partsFUNknown, go do that. It would absolutely make my day to see a really big bump in the PFK subscriptions.
I'm gonna get an exact number because I saw 194,000 when I just checked it out, but I'm gonna switch my account and look at the exact number on the partsFUNknown back end because this is important stuff. All right. I also think you guys should subscribe to partsFUNknown because there might be some maybe new content coming soon, maybe like a new series or something. Might be involving me.
Ooh.
Might be involving Luke.
Ooh.
Who knows?
I'm so excited for 2022 in PFK. Go subscribe to partsFUNknown. I promise you in the very near future, we're gonna have a lot of really fun stuff. And also someone saying I'm wearing a JBL shirt. This is Kazuchika Okada. Please and thank you. Quite comparable, the two of them, of course.
Easy to get mixed up between the two, I think.
Yep.
We're on partsFUNknown, 194,084 subscribers.
So if
just
you wish to
over
be
194.
kind and wonderful to your WrestleTalk friends, give us a subscribe on partsFUNknown.
Hell yeah.
Let's get us to 200,000. Big round numbers.
That would be amazing. Well, let's talk about the rest of Rampage, shall we? Which kicked off immediately with this triple threat match, triple threat TNT title match for Andrade El Idolo versus Darby Allin versus Sami Guevara. Oh boy, this was a lot of fun.
This was a match and a half.
A whole bunch of spots, really, really fun spots, and the pace kind of like undulated quite a lot. Partly because of that like picture-in-picture ad break that they had, but also they just kind of like took it slow for a little bit, and then the pace would get really, really quick, and then they take it slow for a little bit, and then they go, "Oh, some more spots!" Slow down again. It was like, it was really good, really well paced. It just took you through this like roller coaster ride through the whole match, and some of the spots were delightful stuff. There was a Tower of Doom spot where Sami Guevara did a stalling suplex onto Darby Allin, and then Andrade got Sami into a powerbomb position. So Sami was just kind of holding Darby Allin while Andrade was walking him into. That's
in a powerbomb position.
Yeah.
That's so hard to keep the balance and just the strength. Thankfully, they had Darby on top. Darby is the lightest, so at least they worked out. Big block at the bottom, medium block, small block. This was a really fun match. Like AEW doesn't do a lot of three-ways. Like when they started, they would just put them on TV. It was like Darby against Peter Avalon against Shawn Spears. Random three-way for nothing. We haven't gotten very many of them since then. Like we got the Kenny Omega match at Double or Nothing last year. It was really big. Other than that, not a lot of them. This was one of like the best three-way TV matches I may have ever seen.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single one that could rival this one. Like, by all means, chat. If you've got like classic TV, it has to be on TV. Don't give me the main event of WrestleMania 20 or something.
Yeah.
TV triple threat matches that were as good or better than this one. I would love to hear them, because I'll just make a playlist and go watch them today. This was so
and then
fun.
You'll make a list about them on partsFUNknown. Go subscribe.
The best triple threat matches on TV. It's very niche. I really liked the storytelling in this match too. Like I like the dynamic that these two guys have to team up to take out the slightly bigger guy, but they're teaming on Sunday. So like there's just a lot of psychology going on, and there's just so much to love about this match. Also, very quick point, I loved when Andrade slapped the hell out of Darby.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
I saw that and I was like, hell yeah. Because it's like Darby's the small one, so I don't believe he has great striking power. That's not his game. If he's a video game character, power is probably a low attribute. Andrade's bigger. And a punch from Andrade is probably going to hurt worse than a punch from Darby Allin. I don't know. It's really simple, but I really loved it.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And of course, there was another fantastic spot. Andrade in the Tree of Woe position. Darby Allin getting him set up for that. Sami Guevara on the ropes on the other corner of the ring. Darby goes to like charge at the ropes to like knock Sami off. Sami jumps over him, and just while he's in the air, I'll just hit a coast to coast on Andrade while I can. And just went over there and did a drop kick to Andrade. Was really cool.
Sami, like every time he's in a big match, he has like at least one highlight reel moment.
Yeah.
That's what makes you memorable. People are going to remember Sami Guevara when they go home.
Sure are. Yeah. Very, very cool. It was just a really fun match. And I think the finish was really good as well, where, again, Darby and Sami were like half teaming up at the same time because they started hitting some big moves, hit like, the stunner onto Andrade, hit the go to hell on him and stuff like that. But then Darby tried to cost Sami by throwing Sami out the ring to then capitalize, hit a coffin drop onto Andrade, goes for the pin, but then Sami hit a swanton onto Darby and then pinned onto Darby, who was pinning Andrade, and then pinned Andrade from all the moves that he got hit. That was That was cool. That was a nice little finish.
They killed Andrade.
Yeah, they sure did.
I was a bit surprised because I mean, like, it's Andrade. I would think that he would maybe outrank like a Darby Allin on the depth chart. Maybe they'd be similar at least. But Andrade's lost a lot of matches. He was the one to get pinned here. Like, I would have thought that Sami would have pinned Darby in this match, but again,
I think that would have been interesting if they had some sort of story going in for Sunday, where they were going to have some sort of dissension play out between Sami and Darby. Then yeah, I think that makes sense. But I feel like just having Sami pin Andrade via costing Darby, like breaking up Darby's pin to then get the pin himself, was enough. And after the match, there was still kind of that teased dissension of Sami going for a handshake for Darby afterwards, and Darby just walked away, didn't take it. It was pretty cool. I liked it, and I think that it still added an element to it without kind of having more of like a, I don't want to say a heel turn because that's not accurate, but it was more subtle, I think, than if he straight up like pinned him in the match. That's what I think anyway.
Fair enough. You know, it's funny to look at the roster after the fact, like months after the debut. And you look at Andrade, who's this like, pushing more in WWE, NXT champion, 5-star match, big deal, Andrade. Comes to AEW, and it's like, okay, well, where does Andrade actually fit? Like, is he a bigger, more pushed star than a Sammy Guevara, than a Darby Allin? Doesn't seem to be. But going in when he debuted, I was like, wow, there's like Kenny Omega's next challenger. You know, it just hasn't really worked out that way for him.
Yeah. Andrade's run in AEW has not been great. I'll be honest. He's had a few good matches, but
when he just has time to go out and have a good match, like with Pac and all this, he has really good matches. And I'm really hoping he's just got like Miro syndrome, because Miro's run in AEW until he dropped Kit Sabian was pretty bad. Like, I was not into Miro at all during his first like 6 months, and we're past 6 months on Andrade, but I'm hoping that we get something. Yeah. Like something eventually where it's his turn. Give him the TNT title. Yeah, like he did one backstage promo vignette calling himself the kingpin of AEW, and I was like, I like that. That's cool. And then they've never mentioned it again.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, honestly. I would have thought Andrade would be a bigger deal in AEW than he's been.
Yeah, but hopefully that'll happen soon. But regardless, super awesome opener to Rampage. Really, really good. I still would have had this on the pay-per-view, personally. I can't see a reason why not, other than because Sting. But that's about it. After that, we had
because Jeff Hardy, which is an invalid reason.
Yeah, which doesn't work anymore. But yeah. But then we had the debut of Erick Redbeard that we already spoke about with the Pac and Penta Oscuro promo. Then we got confirmation that it's going to be Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara on Dynamite on Wednesday. And Tony Khan tweeted some mildly confusing things on Twitter about it, being like, so there was going to be a 7th spot, but instead of that, I then offered Scorpio Sky to face the TNT champion after Revolution. So it's going to happen on Dynamite, but also don't take that as, and also he's going to sign Paige Van Zandt as well. Dan Lambert's going to as well, but I'm also not taking him for a promise. So we're not going to put any graphics out or anything yet until it happens. I'm like, what?
Should have been 2 tweets.
Yeah.
I get these like promoting Dynamite, but this felt very disjointed.
Yeah.
So you offered the guy a spot in order to become number 1 contender, and instead just made him number 1 contender.
Yeah.
That doesn't make no sense.
No, it's real bad. Whatever. Sure. Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara. He's not going to win.
No.
Cool. Yeah. We then had Keith Lee versus JD Drake. Keith Lee having his tune-up match, as they mentioned on Dynamite, for the Face of Revolution ladder match. My first note for this match is, how dare you put Keith Lee in picture-in-picture? Yeah. Don't be doing that to my boy. I want to watch him all the time. And during that picture-in-picture, he slapped the taste out of JD Drake's chest. I was going to say mouth, but it was all on the chest. So,
Mhm.
you know, we'll go with that. He chopped the ever-loving hell out of him, which was lovely. He managed to get the win. I think JD Drake looked really good in this match. Like you mentioned in your edited review, he's a pretty competent wrestler. But for me, I thought that Keith Lee should have maybe done a bit more in this match. In terms of like his debut, we saw a few of the kind of things that he can do. This one, I don't really feel like it added too much to get us to be more excited for Keith Lee. If we don't already know what Keith Lee's capable of, I feel like this could have been a good showcase to be like, and he can also do this kind of thing that you didn't get to see in his other match, because there's obviously loads more that Keith Lee can do that we've not seen yet in AEW. Whereas this one was he kind of just chopped him a lot, and then he hit, after a bit of a comeback, he then hit the Big Bang Catastrophe, if he's still calling it that, and then
such a dumb name.
It is.
Oh,
and then he won, and that was it. And then there was a post-match beatdown where he hit a spirit bomb and stuff like that, and that was nice. But it just felt like for me in the match, like it should have been more of a Keith Lee showcase, and this felt like more of a JD Drake showcase. He got more of the spots in and the highlights and stuff, and then Keith just won. So it felt like it was a little bit off for me, but Keith Lee's amazing, and this was fun.
I definitely did have a similar moment. I don't remember exactly where, but I was like, Keith Lee's selling a lot in this match. You know? And it's only like a 4-minute match or something like that. Maybe not that long. It was maybe a bit longer than 4 minutes. I don't know. I don't have the times in front of me. I could check. But I don't know. It was just kind of like, it was a short TV match, you know? It wasn't, I agree that they probably should be doing more to build up the guy that's on the pay-per-view rather than the guy who's not. But that's also like, you know, what you do the post-match for, where he gets to do the power bomb and all that kind of extra stuff. And catching JD Drake and like power lifting him up to hit his finish was like really, really impressive. Although I do agree, given that Keith Lee's not your average wrestler, you know, he can do multiple styles, is very versatile. I would have liked to have seen that in this match because JD Drake is such a different wrestler compared to Isaiah Cassidy, right?
Exactly.
Like he's a base. Like Keith Lee can do some flying in this match if you wanted to. Maybe he's not there yet. He's been off for a while. He's had a lot of health issues for sure. And I don't want to speculate, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that if a match is a little bit slower, I'm going to give him a few more weeks to kind of, you know, get in, not ring shape, but you know what I'm trying to say. Get back in regain his bearings and such. I just love Keith Lee. I want to see him do well. This was like a fine match. It was a TV match, like Phantom is saying in the chat. It was a TV match.
Yeah,
that's the review. Fine. It doesn't need to be spectacular, but I would have liked a little bit more Keith
Lee.
But
I want it to be because it's Keith Lee.
It's Keith Lee. I want all the Keith Lee.
Yeah. I would have thought, I thought that something they were setting up in this match, which they didn't do, was JD Drake hit a moonsault onto Keith Lee. And I thought they were going to follow that up with Keith Lee doing a moonsault to JD Drake, because we've seen him do that before, right? And I was like, surely that's what they're setting up. And then they kind of didn't, and he just won. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it was good. It was just, I was expecting like more of a unique showcase of Keith Lee's style. But it is what it is. Keith Lee got a match. I'm happy. It was good, and I'm excited for the ladder match. We had a post-match beatdown from the rest of the Wingmen. Keith Lee did some more stuff, and then we had Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks were going to come down. Orange Cassidy came out behind them, so we had this big like stare off. More of the competitors of the face of the Revolution ladder match, which was cool. I'm really excited for that match.
Yeah, big beefy boys.
Big beefy boys doing big beefy things, and also Ricky Starks
and Orange Cassidy. I don't know what he's doing in that match, but
yeah, and Christian Cage. Spoilers. We then had, you know, just a little throwaway promo from CM Punk. Nothing major, you know. It was just him backstage after his really bloody beatdown from MJF, and you know he didn't really say anything important. Wasn't anything too major. Oh, wait, what's that? Hot damn! CM Punk coming in with just some absolutely gold material in just a throwaway backstage segment. What was this, Punk? What? Huh? This was great. This was really good.
You know what this was? this was, okay, we shot the heel angle on the go home show of Dynamite, and we don't have another Dynamite for Punk to then cut a promo in response to that heel angle. So let's do it backstage and let's put it on Rampage. And my God, was this a promo? Like, it turns out he actually referenced it in the promo, which I didn't catch the first time, and people have since pointed out to me. But this gave me like big time 2003 Ring of Honor like feud with Raven vibes. Like, he's bleeding, he's in the back, and he's talking about how he's going to be a monster, and MJF is not ready for the CM Punk that he's going to face at Revolution. I was like, oh, sell me the pay-per-view. Sell me the pay-per-view, Punk. This is buys. Oh, like, you can hear people selling shows. Like, you can hear the money being printed when a promo is that good.
Yep, absolutely. This was fantastic stuff. Just the intensity that he showed. I don't think we've seen this kind of like intense version of CM Punk since he's joined AEW. I don't think. Not this level, and especially not when he's covered in his own blood from the beatdown that he just suffered after Dynamite. God, this was so good. Just straight down the lens. Him just, it was just perfect for what it needed it to be. Him just being like, all right, you want to play? Let's play. And him just being like, I'm going to murder you on Sunday. Like you said, this was money. This was pay-per-view buys right here. This is perfect.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't the best promo I've ever heard because it didn't need to be. It was only like 2 minutes long, but they sold me the pay-per-view. Like, if I wasn't buying the pay-per-view already, I was buying the pay-per-view to see CM Punk kick MJF's ass.
Yeah, man. This has once again reaffirmed that this is my most anticipated match on Sunday. Tomorrow, I should say. God, so good. We then had Mark Sterling being a bad lawyer backstage because there was him saying that the no contact thing going on with Ty Conti and Jade Cargill was only up until 48 hours before the match. So then Ty Conti came in and kicked Jade Cargill because she can now. What sort of no contract clause do you be like, well, I mean, 48 hours before the show, she can totally do that.
That's basically the show. I mean, it's 48 hours. You're basically there. We've got a show 48 hours before. It doesn't matter.
What?
I'm still struggling to find the reason for smart Mark Sterling to like exist.
Yeah.
You know, what benefit does he give Jade Cargill? I don't know.
This is weird. Ty Conti kicked her. Cool.
Yeah.
We then had Serena Deeb versus Layla Gray in the Professor's 5-minute challenge. Gray tried to run away. It didn't work. She made a tap out very quickly. It was like a little like cravat or like, well, not quite a guillotine.
The front chancery.
That's the one. Front chancery. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And she just tapped out very, very quickly. And then we had the return of Hikaru Shida.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Kendo stick in hand, and she went ham with that kendo stick. My notes for this were Hikaru Shida, Jesus Shida. The next one afterwards, because she just went ham with that kendo stick, just absolutely nailing her with that thing when she was trying to escape. It was very, very cool. Great.
Yeah, I'm excited. Cool. I want to see this match again. Like, they're doing like an unofficial best of 7 series, and I love it. I think this is match like 5 that they'll have.
Sure. Can they have it featured properly now? I just want a really good blow-away match because I don't think they've had that yet.
Yeah, they've had that like 4 times. What are you talking about? All their Dynamite matches have been great.
Wasn't there? There was a couple where like it like wasn't featured properly, or it didn't go long enough, or there was something that was like missing.
There's one where like Deeb, goodness me.
Yep,
Deeb got Shida to like tap, and it was like a pretty short match because it was more of an angle. She just kind of like beat her up and took out her knee. Maybe that one, but the other ones are like excellent matches. So I'm looking forward to another one.
Oh yeah, they're both pretty great. Eddie Kingston then cut a promo on Chris Jericho, saying that kayfabe is dead. That doesn't mean you need to piss on its grave. Nice. He's so effortlessly charismatic that I'm instantly just like, I'm in. Eddie Kingston's talking, I'm listening. He's so good at making you believe what he's saying. And him just saying like, you know, I'm gonna beat him up on Sunday. Like, what do you want to talk about? And he was saying to the was it Tony Schiavone that was interviewing him? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
And he was just saying, like, what do you want me to talk about, Tony? And he's like, well, you could talk about Chris Jericho on Sunday. He's like, yeah, but what do you want me to talk about? I'm gonna beat him up. Like, what more do you want me to say? Like, there's nothing else to say. I'm just gonna kill him. Yeah, it was really, really good stuff.
It's the realest promo in wrestling.
Yeah, man. He's so good. Love that man. We then had the main event, which was the last Face of the Revolution qualifier between Ethan Page and Christian Cage.
Fun.
I saw someone comment on the WrestleTalk News today about your comment that it's going to be Brian Cage, Hangman Page, Ethan Page, Christian Cage in a cage on Rampage. They got to do it,
Dallas
right?
Page is the referee or something.
Yeah, Diamond Dallas Page as the referee. Yeah, that sounds great.
Outside enforcer Nick Gage. Special guest ring announcer Page.
Nice. Yeah.
Just keep going. See,
yeah.
I think they're crazy enough that at some point they'll do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do the tag match at some point, like on a Rampage show or something. They'll do like Hangman Page and Ethan Page against Christian Cage and Brian Cage. And I will laugh, and it'll be worth it. For no other reason than I will laugh.
Just don't rage about it. This was a little fun match. This wasn't the same caliber as the opener or anything. It's a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical, you could call it. But this was decent. This was all right. There was some nice little action between the two, leading to Christian inevitably getting the win with the Unprettier. Was nice. Liked it. Fun little match. Christian gets the win, as we expected. So he's added to the ladder match. And I liked that in the pre-match promo as well. He was saying, like, I helped popularize the ladder match. Like, I'm a ladder match expert. Which I think kind of, not that he wouldn't be welcome in the match as it is, but I think considering he's not wrestled in so long, I feel like it legitimizes him being in the ladder match, of him being like, this is why I'm important in this match, which is really good. I like that little detail.
I also just like the thought that Christian Cage in 2022 is wrestling in a ladder match.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Like this match was like fine. It was fun. Mm-hmm. It was it was a simple main event match,
Yep.
Again, it's weird. If you take this match, put it in the opener, take the opener, put it in the main event. That main event is like one of the great main events of the whole year. Right. Yeah. And that's not to say that either match is like worse because of their positioning, but like, I don't know. Why are we doing this backwards? Like, why are we not putting the main event on last? Especially if I get it. Rampage is usually taped, so it's weird to block out the show a certain way because people are going to get tired and it's a long show, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a taped show. This is a live show.
I
don't know.
My theory is that because Rampage is on so late, they want to capitalize on put the best match on first to get people in, so they have more chance of people seeing that. That's my theory.
Enough, I suppose. It's fair enough.
But I don't know. What they need to do is just put Rampage in a better time slot.
Put it at 7 p.m., please.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a good episode of Rampage. I enjoyed myself very much.
Very good. There's a little bit at the end as well that we didn't mention. Of the Jurassic Express came out to celebrate with Christian. Then you had the Young Bucks and Red Dragon came out. A little bit of interaction there. They both reached into the ring, and Kyle O'Reilly and one of the Bucks picked up one of the belts each and were like facing off against each other. Kyle O'Reilly did the air guitar on the belt. That made me happy.
Be still my heart.
He's great. And then the Luchasaurus grabbed both belts back. Jungle Boy just wiped out all four of them with a dive over the ropes. Cool. That's all I really need for this. I liked this more than their go home angle from Dynamite, because that was Red Dragon and Buck celebrating, and then Jurassic Express came on the stage. We're like, we are also here. Whereas this one, they got a little bit physical. They stole the belts, took them back. It was like there was a little bit more actual physical interaction between that. So, and this, I didn't need anything too major. This was great.
No, simple. This is easy. Like, this isn't the storyline tag title match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the story is obviously there between the Bucks and Red Dragon. But Jurassic Express is basically just the champions going in to defend their titles. And honestly, on a pay-per-view like this with a stat card, that's really all you need. Like, you don't need every match to be the big culmination of a 6-month story. Doesn't need to all be like that. And they'll have a fantastic 3-way match. It's going to be fun. Revolution is tomorrow. I can't wait.
Yeah. I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think this was a better go-home show than Dynamite. This made me more excited for Revolution than Dynamite did, and I'm really appreciative of that. So good job. 5 out of 5 Rampage.
Well done.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So easy to watch. My goodness.
Flies by.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Fastest hour of the week.
Mm-hmm. But now, Tempest, probably quite quickly, because I don't really have that much to talk about. Let's talk about SmackDown.
I didn't hate this show.
I didn't hate it, but not much happened. I don't think. Well, there's a couple of things that happened, but I don't really care about them. Let's talk about it. Because this show opened up with a load of people cutting promos to cameras. It's Paul Heyman, who had a weird slide show of Roman Reigns as he did his promo. All right, yeah, sure. Ronda Rousey.
I want to believe that he got those pictures himself.
Yes, I like that he edited those in himself. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, I'd really like that. We then had Ronda Rousey, Sonya Deville, who I made a joke out of this in my edited review. I did not understand what she said. Nothing compete with the power of. She said authority, but she said it really weirdly.
But we're the authority, Pete.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we then had Viking Raiders, Usos, Ricochet, Sami Zayn all cut promos. Sami Zayn was in Gorilla because he went straight out to have his Intercontinental Championship match against Ricochet. And we had a recap of him winning the title and the Johnny Knoxville stuff and all that jazz. And this match, I thought, I said last week in my edited review, I said that I think the lineup of Ricochet versus Sami Zayn could be very fun if WWE want it to be. And when you know it, I think they wanted it to be. Because they had a fun match, Put on a lot. This is going to sound really backhanded, but WWE are putting in a ton of near falls into their matches lately. I noticed this with New Day Los Lotharios and New Day Los Lotharios again, and I think was it Naomi Charlotte had a bunch of near falls as well.
And was it New Day Los Lotharios again?
I was tempted, but I think it was Naomi Charlotte as well. And I noticed it in this match, and I noticed it in one of the other matches there. I can't remember what was on this bloody card. In the... God, what else happened? What else happened on the show?
Big E, Sheamus, Ronda,
Usos, Viking Raiders.
Usos, Viking Raiders. Yeah, that's it.
Where they just kind of... They don't build to the near falls. They just have the near falls from the off. Which can work... But not all the time.
The problem with this is the WWE formula. Because the formula is not to build to the near falls. Mm-hmm. It's that the people like finishers.
Yes.
They like the big moves. And now, whoa, they cheer because of big move. That's what the WWE formula is. So it's not like built the same way as like a match in another company would be.
Yeah. But I will say... It's still better than their old formula. Even if it's superficial and it's just a bunch of niffles for nothing, it's still better than what they had. So, better wrestling. Can't really complain too much. This was a pretty fun match.
I've got no complaints about this Sami Zayn Ricochet match. This is a fun way to open the show.
Really fun. And Johnny Knoxville came out and distracted Sami, leading to Ricochet getting the Hurricane Rana pin for the win. New Intercontinental Champion Ricochet. Which I've seen a lot of people really excited about. And they're like, oh, Ricochet, new IC champ. I'm glad he deserves it. And I'm like, I don't really care because WWE don't push their Intercontinental Champions like ever. So I don't think this is going to result in like some big push for Ricochet or whatever. I think this is just... It's a guy with a title, It's like when Nakamura won it. It's like, whatever.
It's a prop. It doesn't matter. It just shifts. It floats. Yeah. It's a hot potato. I said on Twitter that if you took like all restrictions off and you just let people wrestle, I don't know that there's anyone that would be more fun to watch in an open challenge setting than Ricochet. Just let him defend this title every week in fun matches and it will work. I promise it will work. Yeah. I also think it's funny that we got like one match out of Shinsuke Nakamura in 6 months. And now we've had 2 title changes in 2 weeks. It's all or
It's on
nothing.
that title hostage, man.
Yeah.
God. So that was pretty fun. We then had Sami freaking out backstage. He offered a WrestleMania challenge for Johnny Knoxville, which was accepted later in the show. Cool. I think we all saw that was coming.
Yeah, we basically talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Well,
we then had... So they built up that Mr. McMahon was going to be announcing who Pat McAfee's WrestleMania opponent was. They showed the backstage. They showed the locker room door of Mr. McMahon, who was backstage in WWE. But out came Austin Theory instead. And he said, well, wherever Mr. McMahon goes, I go with him. And he announced that at WrestleMania, it's going to be him versus Pat McAfee. And then he slapped Pat McAfee. And Pat was like, what? That's pretty much the whole segment.
Yeah. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit odd.
You know what? I'm more excited for that than I was for Pat versus Vince. Because I have no interest in seeing Vince attempt to wrestle.
I don't think I can agree. I watch WWE now for the sake of chaos. That's why I'm sitting there and I'm watching Elimination Chamber and I'm like, come on, Goldberg. Beat Roman just so I can see Twitter go. I was the one guy that was happy when Goldberg beat The Fiend. Just because I sat back and just watched Twitter like burn down. I was just like, it's funny. It's anarchy. You know?
Yeah. I thought this was whatever. I mean, to be honest, it's still probably going to be Vince. They're still going to find a way to maybe get there. If that is the plan, this could be a setup.
Yeah.
It was fine. We then had Naomi versus Carmella, which was quick. Naomi won. We also got, in a promo, got a little bit of dissension between Carmella and Queen Zelina. That's what we all wanted to see. We've got another women's tag team in the tag team division. Can't have that. We need to have one team and one team only. So we're already looking to break them up.
But Pete, the thing that people care about is how much sex are Carmella and Corey Graves having. These two lovebirds having all of the sex, and they want to tell you about it. And they want to show you it too, as much as they can put on YouTube.
What a terrible concept for a show.
Yeah. Whatever. This is too much time I've already spent talking about Corey and Carmella.
Yeah. Naomi won quickly, celebrate with Sasha Banks. Cool. Corbin
I like
and
them
Moss.
as a team. I will say that right now. Them getting there and everything is very rushed and no story to it whatsoever. I like Sasha and Naomi standing next to each other being a team. That works.
I agree. Corbin and Madcap Moss were backstage. They're playing cards. Madcap does a joke. And then on their TV in their room, Drew McIntyre enters, which then begs the question, what feed are they watching? Because they're not watching SmackDown because they're on SmackDown. So what are they watching?
It's probably the stadium feed.
No, Tempest, don't logic me. Let me have my joke.
Okay.
Anyway, we had Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal, which was very quick. Drew McIntyre won, obviously. Do you remember when
that was going to be a pay-per-view match?
Yeah, when people wanted this to be a WWE Championship feud.
People. I am not people. No. I'll say that right now.
Yeah. Drew won quickly, then did a promo afterwards, which I thought was a decent promo.
Yep.
Him saying that he's basically gonna take out Corbin at WrestleMania. Cool. Cuts back to backstage. Madcap Moss does another joke, but Corbin doesn't laugh because we need more dissension.
Is it dissension or is he just like, I've gotten myself into this?
Well, I think this wouldn't be dissension unless we had the thing last week where he kind of put Madcap Moss in the firing line.
That's fair. That's fair.
We then did a recap of Lesnar and Reigns' contract signing, which was essentially the entire segment, just with the breath taken out. Like, Jesus.
Do you need to recap a contract signing? No. They signed the paper. Full stop. Brock threw some security guys around. You can say that in like 5 seconds. In fact, I just did.
Yeah.
Recap done. Move on.
So, on this next bit, we had Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura made their entrance. The Usos then ambushed them, and I was like, why? All right. Then Roman Reigns' music hit, and I was like, okay, So Roman Reigns is like hijacking the already scheduled Boogs Nakamura segment. So this is where I got a bit frustrated, Tempest, as I mentioned on the intro for the thing that no one's watched yet or heard. On my feed that I watched when I originally watched this show, Roman Reigns came out. It cut to an ad break. They came back, and it was the Usos versus the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders just made their entrance, and I was like, what happened to Roman? Did they just bring him out to not do anything with... They literally booked him to do an entrance. That's the whole... And then I had this whole thing in my edited review. It's a very funny joke that no one's ever going to see, you know? And then I found out that actually he did a promo, and that just invalidates the whole thing. And I was very upsetty about that.
I want to know what feed of SmackDown you're watching that you're getting less SmackDown.
Yeah.
How can I watch that show?
But whatever. He came out and then he did a promo. I thought this promo was decent. He got like fired up in this one, and he essentially said, "I'm going to beat Brock." That was the long and short of it. He basically said that, look, predictions, spoiler, I called my shots. Last year I called my shot, and then this year I'm going to be killing Brock. That's not a prediction, that's a spoiler, and he's going to acknowledge me.
It's a good promo. It's a promo I've heard already.
Yeah.
I've heard Roman talk about beating up Brock for 7 years. Right now in this promo, not enough new for me to be like, hell yeah, WrestleMania. I don't care. I've seen this match already.
I
saw it like
commentary were putting up that this is the first time that Roman's been really fired up since becoming like the tribal chief. So Brock's in his head. I'm like, I don't know if I buy that, you know?
It's also not true. Roman got fired up before. He was like,
yeah,
why would he lie to me? Why would he lie to me? Or whatever.
I mean,
whatever
he said. Not the only lies told on this show. Get into that in a minute. This was all right. We then had the tag title match of the Usos versus the Viking Raiders. This was again similar to the opener, where they just did a bunch of near falls, which, you know, is actually kind of fun. It's superficial, but it's kind of fun. And it was a bit of fun. They had a Viking experience for a near fall. Well, they broke up the pin anyway off the Viking experience, which was cool. But the Usos got the win clean with the 1D.
Cool.
Nice.
Don't know why we couldn't have done this at the pay-per-view.
Right? Just put that on Elimination Chamber.
I'm really curious as to what happens at WrestleMania now, you know? Because I figured they would then just stretch this out until WrestleMania. But maybe they'll face like Nakamura and Boogs, and that's how you get Rick Boogs onto the show so he can do his big entrance.
I would assume that them taking out Nakamura and Boogs is the way to build them up to challenge. And I think they'll probably win against the Usos.
Probably.
They really like Rick Boogs, so
yeah, it's fine.
The New Day have a quad bike again. Apparently, there's like a new toy, which is why they're doing that.
It's the new pancakes.
Sure.
It's the new bootios.
Yeah.
Got an ATV now.
We were supposed to have Big E versus Sheamus. I still don't know why Sheamus is upset at the fact that Big E owns a quad bike. I don't quite get that.
I don't know. This is how you make storylines in WWE now. You just like drive past someone in a hallway.
Yeah.
And that's close enough. You like lock in on each other.
It's like a Pokemon battle. You locked eyes, we got to fight now.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
So before the match even starts, Ridge Holland attacks Kofi with a chair, and then Sheamus attacks Big E in the ring. They steal the quad bike, and then during an ad break, they do the Street Fighter 2 bonus stage where they just beat up the quad bike and they destroy it.
Solid reference.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, Pete.
It was cool.
Yeah, they beat up the bike.
Yep.
I can't imagine that this is a WrestleMania match. This to me feels like all these guys are in the Battle Royal.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's accurate.
That is embarrassing that you're putting Big E in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. That's if that happens. Again, we don't know that for sure because it hasn't been announced. But if Big E's in the Battle Royal, shame on you. Fool.
Did you know? Not fun fact at all, but fun fact. I forgot that Big E was WWE champion. I saw an article about him talking about his title run. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. And I was like, That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a shame.
Terrible. Also, did you know that apparently, according to reports, I can't remember the reports, so don't quote me on this one. I can't remember who reported it. That the men's battle royal is not going to be on Mania. It's going to be on either SmackDown or Raw.
I've got 2 shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can't find time for a 10-minute battle royal. I mean, whatever. Those people don't get to be on WrestleMania. Take it up with them.
Yep. We did have a battle royal last year, but not at WrestleMania. It was on the SmackDown prior. It was WrestleMania SmackDown.
Jey Uso won. And it's like never been mentioned again.
Nope. Cool. We then had Undertaker promo, whatever.
Yep.
We had Johnny Knoxville accepting the match. We then had Corbin and Moss were backstage playing darts. Corbin has thrown some darts and he's counting up his score, and he's looking at the dartboard, counting up his score, when a sword comes in next to his head, into the dartboard.
Attempted murder.
Attempted murder. Actual attempted murder.
Illegal wrestling activity.
Yes. Yeah.
We're getting closer to an impalement.
Yeah. Getting there.
Closer.
So, like, on so many levels for this. Okay, so that straight up is attempted murder. That's sure.
I really don't have the energy to like analyze attempted murder with a sword.
I know. But like, how did they not know that Drew was there?
Yeah.
Also, immediately
he stabbed with a sword.
He stabbed the dartboard, and then immediately they just like went whoa and ran away, and then the segment just ended with Drew looking very smug. It's like there's no like follow up to that. That's the whole segment was Corbin going, let me count this up. That's it. Cut. A few seconds. This segment was a few seconds long. Oh, this was.
I am trying to be positive, Tempest.
What was the point of this, Tempest?
Yeah, that is a question to which I do not have an answer, my friend.
No.
Because again, I'm trying to be positive, Tempest, and when the show just starts being like this, I just like, all right, next segment, please.
Yeah,
I don't have it in me to get mad about this sort of thing nowadays. Yeah. You know.
Speaking of getting mad about stuff. You're welcome, everyone, in advance. We got the main event of Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's accolades were read out before she made her entrance, which made me like her less. It felt like a very heel thing, you know? When, like, a heel takes their time making their entrance, and they're like... I think Corbin had that at one point, right? When it was, like, former Golden Gloves boxing champion or whatever, and it took ages, and everyone was like, ugh, get it over already. This felt like, yes, I know who Ronda Rousey is. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
All right. That being said, I'm about to get pissed.
All right.
Ronda Rousey's been back for like 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
She has laid out Sonya Deville at least 4 times.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view included.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to just explode. Like I'm trying not to curse right now. But for what you people, not you people, the commenters, but you people, the people that run WWE, made me sit through for 6 months, this Naomi Sonya business, where Naomi got like 1 match, got eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and now it's just dropped. She's got other things to worry about now. 6 months this dragged on, and it led to nothing, and now Ronda Rousey's the star that gets to do it. Piss off! You absolute trash bag writers. God damn, they didn't even know Ronda was coming back. What was the plan for this? Were we just going to go with Naomi and Sonya to WrestleMania? I have to know.
Probably.
They probably never thought that far ahead. They just said, no another didn't. One. Oh, what are we doing this week? Nah, Sonya and Naomi. They'd do a thing. Next week, same thing. Whatever. I would prefer that somebody beat up Sonya. I'd rather have that than Sonya being terrible to everyone and never getting comeuppance.
Yeah.
I would also just rather not have Sonya Deville as an authority figure. I don't want to see authority figures anymore, especially when they're treating wrestlers like this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Weirdly, Tempest, this was not the thing that annoyed me about this. Mine is much more nitpicky. Mine's much more nitpicky. Because that's kind of my thing, I guess. Charlotte Flair came out on commentary, and there were 2 things I didn't like about this. Charlotte Flair was out on commentary. She distracted Ronda a couple of times. That was all fine. On commentary, they were like, "Are you worried about Ronda Rousey?" She goes, "No."
Cool, move
What
on.
do you mean you're not worried about Ronda Rousey? Why are you downplaying? Like, this is like, we mention this all the time. You need to build your opponents up instead of just drag them down all the time. Because that's just all that Charlotte does, is not take her opponent seriously. That is her MO every single time. And it doesn't work. That annoyed me.
Yeah. I just don't like it when wrestlers are on commentary. I think it sucks like 95% of the time. Unless it's like Kevin Owens, who's funny.
Yeah.
You know? Most of the time, this just sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know the other part that made me nuts?
I've got a second part, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like once Ronda gets this match out of the way, no one cared about that. Beats Sonya Deville again. They're all just like, oh, Charlotte never tapped out or something. Charlotte tapping out was like a really big deal.
That's my second bit. That's my second bit, Tempest. Charlotte's never tapped out. Yes, she has. Why are you lying to us?
I can remember times like off the top of my head.
Look at that. She's tapping.
There's one.
That's
the one I was thinking about.
That's
the one.
Sasha Banks again.
I was gonna put that
tapping
in
to Becky Lynch. What's that? That's tapping.
Yeah.
Friggin' liars. I hated this so much.
It's not like when John Cena would do his like never give up thing and just like, oh, we tapped out on SmackDown 10 years ago. Charlotte's not been around that long. No. And she's never been like the I will never tap out person. She just has submission losses. Why are you lying to me?
Yeah.
I'm your customer. Do not lie to me. I want to give you my money. I don't, but in theory, I would want to give you my money if you would stop lying to me.
Yeah. What makes wrestling so unique and amazing is you have such a storied history for every wrestler, right? They have their own individual stories that can combine in such a unique way. And you have this constant, because it never stops, you have this constantly shifting roster of characters flowing in and out, and characters can change and shift. And you have their whole storied histories that interact in certain ways. That's what makes wrestling so great, when you use that history and you reward people for actually paying attention and investing in these characters, and you pay it off with stories that can't be done in any other medium because they don't exist for as long as wrestling does. When you just ignore that and just lie and just make stuff up, you're flying in the face of the point. Like, come on. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was like a 2 out of 5 SmackDown.
Maybe
3 out of 5 SmackDown.
Like 2,
Show's
3.
over. Ricochet won the Intercontinental title. That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. There was a lot of filler on this episode, and there was a lot of not much happening.
There's a lot of filler on this road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, legit. Yeah. You know when I said last week, I was like, I really hope they got enough material for Lesnar Reigns.
They don't have material for anything.
No.
There's no material. They're fresh
no
out.
Material at all.
Yeah.
I think that this show was on the right side of nothing happening. It was nothing happening, but there was some good wrestling, and there was a couple little fun bits. Yeah. Whereas sometimes there is nothing happening, and it's just boring the whole time. This was on the right side of nothing happening.
I'd rather watch wrestling than watch 10 minutes of video packages.
100%.
In the middle of Finn Balor walking to the ring, 10 minutes of video packages, another ad break. Damian Priest walks to the ring, another ad break. I don't want to see that ever again, as long as I live. So if we just get a little bit more wrestling that doesn't mean a lot in the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad.
Yeah, totally. I think I uploaded the poll. Let's see. 56% of people saying it was a smack bang in the middle show. 13% going one higher with a 4. 14% saying 2. 12% saying 1. 5% with that 5 out of 5 rating. I think that's...
I want what y'all are smoking.
Fair. 3 to 2, I think is fair.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's gonna do it. So we don't have any Patreon shoutouts yet because I've not done it this month because I've been really, really busy. But we'll have that starting next week. But let's get into the rest of your Ultra Chats. Last chance to get in your Ultra Chats. Send those into WrestleTalk.com/support. I'm going to read all your messages that are above $5 or up by the time the show goes off the air. Scott Woodford said, got my work bonus and I thought I would acknowledge Chopper Pete. Damn right. Your tribal Pete. I'd noticed in Roman's promo as well. I thought it was really funny because I know he's done it a couple times, but this one it really stuck out to me. Is how much he like lowers his voice and grumbles when he says "acknowledge me." Is literally just like he says like the place name and then he's like "acknowledge me." It's like, all right, Roman, isn't it? Take it up a little bit. Protect your vocal cords, man. Jeez.
He's Batman.
He's Batman. Yeah. Rachel. Alex Melchior said, Hey guys, you know that the Revolution card is ridiculous when the pre-show is stacked. And Tempest, I'm actually going to the Foo Fighters concert this summer in Toronto. Should be a great time.
That's where I live. I live in Toronto. Yay, that Toronto made believe. I wish I was going to that show. Something tells me I will not be in Toronto at the time of that show. Otherwise, I would absolutely be going.
Interesting stuff, Tempest. Matt Carney said, if Rampage does go to 2 hours, will it have to distinguish itself somehow from Dynamite? If it's just more Dynamite, I'll get bored. However, what if they keep all the spooky stuff just for Rampage, making AEW have a light and dark duality? Could be cool. I disagree.
I don't like any of that.
I feel like we've got a ton of chats over the last months and years, really. Well, especially since Rampage came on, actually. People finding like ways to try and separate AEW into sections, be like, Dynamite can be for this thing, and Rampage can be for this thing. And I think one of the appeals of AEW is it's so diverse. You have so many different styles happening all the time on all your shows. I think literally like separating out certain things and being like, this stuff's for technical, this stuff's for high flying. It's like that misses the point, right? You want the clash of styles. That's diversity is good on a show.
I agree. Very well said.
Again, I'm so good at my job. Hawk the Outcast 823 said, "Love the show, guys. Would love to get a shout out for the next me WF World Champion."
I don't
Any ideas,
know
Tempest?
what that means. I don't know what MEWF could be, or MEWF. Mewf. I have no idea.
Well, they're separated out as well because it's not just the letters MEWF. It's M small e space capital W space small f.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It says hashtag Bonesaw is ready after that. So I'm like, was that the name of the league in Spider-Man? But I know it wasn't. It was the NYWL because I remember that sort of thing.
Sense. Yeah.
You know, it was New York Wrestling League or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but staying on topic, I thoroughly enjoyed the triple threat this week and only wish this was the fight we were getting at Revolution. Take care, Jam That Jam. I agree.
Hell yeah.
Some WWE chats. Tails P said, was Sami Zayn bigger than usual, or was it because he was next to Ricochet? Why did the New Day have matching gear? Did WWE forget how Sasha Banks won her championships? And finally, have you seen the Power World Team Rocket Simulator trailer? No, I haven't.
I've heard you talk about it a little bit. Probably just saying you haven't seen the trailer, but
that was on yesterday's show. Someone asked on yesterday's show, have you seen the trailer? I was like, no. I think it might have been Tails P, actually, that asked me yesterday again.
Well, get on it then. You can't keep making Tails P wait.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what it is. I haven't seen anything about it. Zoe Sung said, Tempest is right. The only reason to look up what?
Covers everything. Tempest is right. Full stop.
Full stop. Yeah. To be fair, it does have a full stop after it. After it. Tempest is right. The only reason to even look up WWE is to see if they did something pathetic, opening a bottle of whatever you fancy, not even alcoholic. Scroll social. The Death of the Demon was a great 2-hour scroll. F Ronda, by the way. I'll leave it there. Thanks, Zoe.
It's a lot to cover.
Yeah. Zoe Sung again said, I love Holly Holm. Best UFC pay-per-view ever.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it's good.
I was depressed after that. Not really, but I was like, oh, there goes another UFC cash cow. They don't have another one waiting just yet.
Nope.
It was like 2 months after Conor McGregor got knocked out or something. You know? No, Conor McGregor came after that, but regardless.
We've got some Pokedex entries here from Zoe Sung. It said, Chris Jericho, the influencer Pokemon. This Pokemon is being so in-your-face fake about himself so that Eddie Kingston, the Mad King Pokemon, comes off as a real babyface. Also, Jericho is a legend in reinventing himself on every single heel turn. Abs! OMG!
He's in great shape.
He's in good shape.
I will say anytime Chris Jericho says something that I know he trademarked, I die a little inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time he calls himself the influencer, this 51-year-old man, calling himself the influencer.
I don't
just
hate
saying
him.
GFY, because I'm like, I know you're trying to do a new catchphrase. Just be real.
Yeah, GFY is bad. I don't mind calling himself the influencer because he's a heel. Like that's a
He's
real.
not though. He's a babyface.
He's totally a heel. What you on about?
He's a babyface.
He's a heel, Tempest.
He is not.
He's a heel.
This is the double. He is not turned heel. He is absolutely not turned heel. He's trying to work things out with the inner circle. He was just like, hey, Santana Ortiz, are we good? Like, I don't think he's turned heel.
He turned heel against Santana and Ortiz. Eddie Kingston's the babyface. Change my mind.
I disagree. I'm not saying that Eddie Kingston isn't the babyface. He's definitely the heel in this feud. But if you were like setting your alignments on a video game right now, I don't think he's a heel. I don't think he's fighting dirty.
He called himself a sports entertainer.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That is a heel move. Regardless.
Heel move right there. Ten Rosa said, Tempest, sorry about talking about the foos. I'll shut up until November when they come back here.
Yeah. I will see them maybe before November. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, if this wasn't the end of the show, I would get a poll going maybe to see if we can figure out if Jericho's a heel or not. But it is the end of the show, so I won't. Thank you so much for all of your Ultra Chats, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Really do appreciate it. Stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because tomorrow it's AEW Revolution. It's Ollie versus Luke on AEW Live Reactions. It's going to be Tempest and Ollie doing the review of Revolution the day after. It's going to be Laurie doing an edited review of Revolution on the main WrestleTalk channel. I'm going to be doing news on the Monday on the main WrestleTalk channel. All of us
subscribe to partsFUNknown.
Subscribe to partsFUNknown as well. Get to 200,000 subscribers.
Yes,
on there.
200,000 subscribers by WrestleMania. If you haven't subscribed, do that. Do it. Do it. Yeah.
Also, go to Patreon. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Go there too.
Do you like board games?
Do you like board games?
Subscribe to No Rolls Barred. Plug everything.
Do the things. Do the stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. I'm really pumped for Revolution.
Me too. Boom.
The boom.
The boom.